the Week 15 review. I have to apologize to you ahead of time. I can see that the energy level from my co-host is very low today. Why are you so sad?
I'm not sad.
You're sick?
Maybe. Aren't we all a little sick? We're all dying inside.
Oh, okay. But yeah.
Some faster than others.
Oh, okay. So we'll get through this somehow, some way. You gonna make it?
I'll try.
Okay.
Just for you.
So the matchups from Week 15, Bear Bashers with an 8-7 win over All Rise.
Was it as close as the score indicates?
I don't know, not really, because I feel like there was like 3 categories that he won just barely. So you know what I mean? Like if you do it that way,
Yeah, 11-4.
Yeah, I mean it could have been either way. So but a win is a win, and that's all that matters.
Keep the train rolling.
Keep the train rolling. Team V with a 12-4 win over Zips.
There were a couple categories that I stole. He actually had it down to 10-6, and then I won 2 categories on Sunday. But we had a lot of close categories. But again, it was an extended week, so I could say he put up a good fight. But I think if it was a 7-day matchup, I win strikeouts, I win wins, so that's 2 more points. So that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
He churned to win 2 categories, which I expect.
He's trying.
No, he's trying, yeah, but like I said, I mean, come playoffs, you can't pick up 9 pitchers.
Yeah, he didn't pick up that many, did he?
It was a lot. It was a lot. He was trying to win strikeouts bad.
The next matchup in the sibling rivalry between Alaska Glaciers and Globo Gym. Alaska with the 8-7 win. And it's weird because I thought Alaska was the rebuilding one. Is that not true?
No, inside news, I did speak to him. He is trying to make the 6th seed. That is his goal. He's trying to get to number 6.
Wow. I think he should prepare for some disappointment on that one. I think he's too far away. I don't think he can make it.
Still 5 weeks left. He did say that he does have a tougher schedule than some of the other teams that are ahead of him, so...
Yeah.
Not giving up, though. He's not giving up, not rebuilding. And he thinks he still has a chance to make number 6.
Ben's champions, finally with a win. That's good for him, right?
He had a gimme matchup this week.
A 12-5 win over 5 Swords. What?
Why bother?
Why bother?
Why bother even talking about it?
Yeah.
But he's trying. 5 Swords is trying. He doesn't understand why we keep bashing him all the time. He's trying.
Well, I mean, the easiest answer to that is that it's not that what you need to do is all you need to do is set your lineup, but you need to put your team in position to be better next year, and that's what he's not doing, right?
Oh, so you're saying next year. So he shouldn't even be trying to win this year.
Well, he can't. I mean, sometimes you just got to look at it and say, oh, I'm 40 games out of a playoff spot. I'm not going to
Okay, but let's
make the
talk
playoffs.
about that. How do you even get to that point?
Well,
How do you get that far back? In a season where, would you not agree that it seems like, to use this word, parity? From, let's say, teams...
3 through
yeah.
everything. I mean, 3 through 9 are within 10 games of each other.
Correct. So I would call that a lot of parity.
Right.
Okay. How do you get that far back then if it seems that the league is that close together?
I think it's a combination of things.
Like?
I think there are certain players that he has that are underachieving. I will say that.
Okay.
But it's up to you as the general manager to fix that. That's, I mean, yeah. Because I agree with you. I don't think you should be that far behind. But you're just making poor decisions. It is what it is. I do think, though, that there's still a lot of young players that if I were in that situation, I'd have on my team.
Would you be selling?
Yeah.
And who would you be trying to sell?
Who would I be trying to sell? Well, let's see. Evan Gaddis. That's my first answer.
Okay. I'd agree with that. if you can get anything for him. But again, he's a catcher.
Nunez.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you
There's
don't
a
need
guy.
him.
I mean, but he is kind of young.
He's kind of young.
But he's on a horrible team.
Right. I mean, if I were him, if I were Five Swords, I would be listening for Pollock because he's always hurt. I think if you can actually get rid of him while he's healthy and producing, that would be something that I'd be interested in.
Okay.
I don't think he could get anything for Trumbo. Do you think he could? I mean, it's someone he doesn't need to
Unless
have.
Ben's champions or Globo Jim wants him.
Yeah. I mean, I know that he picked up Adam Jones.
And he's been hitting for him.
Adam Jones has been hitting for him. That might be a guy that he could spin. I mean, would you want Adam Jones? Because he's 32, 33 now, right?
Right. He's not going to play on my roster.
Yeah. Now, Mark Reynolds has gone off ever since your famous rant. But again, that's a guy that, what do you want for next year? You know?
Correct.
If you're getting the best production out of him that you've had since 2011, now's the time to cut.
Right.
Well, not cut, but trade.
Correct.
I'd be listening to Cespedes because it's another guy who's great when he's on the field, can't play 160 games. Somebody would use him as a rental. Be excited for him I think he'd get something for him.
Right.
I don't know if he could get anything for LaCroix or not. I'd try.
He's been terrible.
I know. He's been
But
really
again,
bad.
he's got the double whammy. He's been terrible and he's a catcher. So.
Maybe Tomas. Maybe if he can get...
You're higher up on him than
I am.
I think he should be a free agent guy.
The pitching...
And right now, where's he going to play?
Well, yeah. Well, he's on the DL right now. So,
Correct, but when he comes off the DL, is he going to have a spot to play anyways?
It's going to be iffy. He might only hit against lefties.
Right.
Something like that. I don't know. I could see him and Peralta being some sort of...
Platoon.
Yeah. Let's see... Wainwright, I don't think he'd get anything for him. He's just free agent fodder.
Yep. So you're saying he's like Corey Kluber, because I was told Corey Kluber's free agent fodder.
When did someone say that to you?
When I tried to trade him when he was slightly hurt.
Okay.
Yeah. Good call, Bench Champions.
Yeah, that's
good call. By the way,
good.
it's still in the text thread that I have that we had that conversation in case you try to deny it.
Yeah, his pitching's really bad. I don't know if any... Well...
He's still got Keuchel.
He still has Keuchel, that's it. And, having Urias, I get it. But
I get it, but what? Here's my thing about Urias. If a guy is this good, why isn't he up pitching?
Well, he's always on the DL. He's just one of those guys who's always hurt.
I agree.
So, but
he's on
we've basically gone through his whole roster. There's obviously people that he has guys that you get something for.
Correct.
Now, I did go through this last year. I do know that the league in general just covets young players like it's gold. You know what I mean? So the value for the young players is really, really high. I mean, I basically made some bad trades. Well, I don't even know if they're bad because it worked out for me in the long run. But I felt like I wasn't getting value back for my veterans. But that's just how it is. Yeah. Like you just don't get as much for what you have to give up. You know what I mean? But... But it works out because even if you get those young players and they don't produce, you can still flip them because they're worth something. That's what I did. I mean, my whole team right now, I don't think I have anybody on it that's actually homegrown. You know what I mean? That's somebody that I actually took from like a minor leaguer. It's either a trade or free agent. Yeah, Lindor's favorite trade. Bob had him.
Oh.
Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
So...
It's just, like I said, I mean, it's tough. You want, I mean, how do I want to put this? Am I glad that he's not in contention? Well, yeah, from a competitive standpoint, but at the same time, you want people to have success. And, it's kind of sad. Yeah.
So, I mean, we'll see. He still has, because, I mean, the trade deadline is what? It's like halfway through August?
Yeah, something like that.
So, I mean, he still has time. And then the last matchup, Team Jobu with an 8-6 win over Pine Tree. And
it's a very interesting matchup.
It's an interesting matchup, but let's face it, Kershaw out for 6 weeks is going to kill Pine Tree. I think that's the end of the Pine Tree. Do you think that he has enough to overcome that?
I was going to say that the Korea injury was to see how he was going to handle that was going to be tougher, but yeah, losing your best pitcher now.
It's his team actually looks great for next year. Like, because I'm playing him right now, and I see all these guys that are hurt,
right.
but they're all hurt right now. I don't think he's going to be able to make the run.
So my question is, there's another question kind of playing along the lines of Five Swords. If you're Pine Tree Lane, what do you do? Because you are knocking on the door of making the playoffs. Do you trade or think about trading someone, let's say Korea's out 6 to 8 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to have value.
Yeah.
Would you consider trying to move a guy like that because he has value to make a run?
If I could get a big return, I would.
Interesting.
But that doesn't mean that I would get that big return because it's like I could see a Globo Gem overpaying for him right now.
Right.
Okay?
Would you take a Daniel Murphy and players for Carlos Correa, knowing that your starting second baseman right now is Joe Panik?
Yeah, I would. If I were him, because I think then you could sort of maybe do both. Maybe still sink into the playoffs and still be set up for next year because it's not like Murphy's going to fall off the face of the earth next year. He's not that old.
Right.
So.
I can't remember what my package was that I offered him, but.
Also, you already tried this.
Yes.
That's what you're telling me.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you want to get rid of Murphy. I see. I know where you're going. You're like, well, I'm just winning every category by so much. I don't need batting average. But I don't think Altuve's going to hit 500 for the whole second half of the year. That's part of what's happening right now. You do know that. He's hitting 507 in July. I heard that on the radio today. 507 in July.
Right, and July's not over yet.
I know, but I mean, he's just having a ridiculous month.
He is.
So it has a lot to do with why you're, winning batting average by 40 points because he's going nuts. So I wouldn't want to get rid of Murphy.
He's the only reason I've been winning batting average?
No, but he has a big part. I mean, when you have a guy hitting 500, that has a lot to do with it, yes.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, that was all the matchups. I do think that the injuries for Pine Tree are going to be too much for him to overcome, though.
And again, I would strongly agree with that. Without knowing his schedule coming up in the next couple weeks, I think that honestly, if I'm him, he has a couple guys that he has DL'd that I would just let go.
Yeah, that's I agree with that too.
I mean, I'm sorry. You can say what you want about, I don't know why, for being a Nationals fan, why he loves Matt Harvey so much. He's a guy to drop in a second.
Yeah.
Move a guy like Correa or Kershaw to your actual DL, now you got a roster spot.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough. It's tough. I'm sure he's kicking himself every day that he sees Andrew McCutchen going off. What would his offense look like right now if he had McCutchen still in it?
Yeah, but that's one of those trades I can't fault him for. He went from 0 to hero in overnight. So I get it. I would have done the same thing. It would have been like, I've been sitting here for almost 2 years and this guy wasn't producing. And I can get something for him, I'm going to make that trade.
But to play catch-22, how about when his value was higher and people were asking you for him all the time and you didn't want to get rid of him?
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, kind of works both ways.
So you're looking at his schedule right now?
I just want to take a quick peek if Wi-Fi allowing.
He's playing me currently this week.
So he's obviously going to lose.
You would think, yes.
His next matchups are me, Five Swords, Bench Champions, Zips, and All Rise. I don't think that's that tough.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Especially when he ends with... I mean, Zips has proven he's either going to win the matchup close or he's going to get blown out.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's a big potential there. And All Rise is nothing to be...
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would say is that 2 of the last 3 weeks, you could have guys who are fighting for playoff spots, maybe.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they're going to give everything they've got to try to win those matchups. But yeah, I would say overall it's probably a below average finish.
Sneak a peek at... Ooh.
Who's that?
Alaska Glaciers.
Yeah, that is tough.
Team Jobu, Zips, Bear Bashers, All Rise, and V. Now, I will tell you this.
See, he lost to Five Swords.
Yeah.
I mean, that can't happen.
Right. I will tell you this: if he gets in striking distance by week 21, it's going to be interesting because I have proven in the past that I have zero interest in manipulating my roster for one playoff for a matchup at the end of the season that has nothing to do with affecting me.
I know.
So I mean, he could very easily have a 10-5 win in the last week if he can get that close.
Yeah,
that's the thing. That's tough.
Way
with
off.
that. So I mean, basically, then
Because look at the standings right now. How far away is he? He still has a lot of ground to make up, right?
I thought you said that he was within 10 or 12 games.
I don't know. Let me see.
Well, it sounds like we're looking at the schedule. It sounds like we already have it locked with who the 6 are going to be.
He's currently today.
Yes.
15 games out of the 6th seed.
That's a lot. Yeah, I don't see it happening.
All Rise is 14 games out. Now Pine Tree's only 4 games out.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
From who? From Zips?
From Zips.
So let's take a look at Zips. That's the guy we need to look at.
And Ben's Champions, technically, too. They're both tied.
Zips plays Ben's Champions, Alaska Glaciers, All Rise, Pine Tree Lane, and Globo.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I don't think that's daunting.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my question. Who gets the 5 swords in the last 3 weeks?
I do.
So you're going to have... You have the 2 seed locked up no matter what.
I think.
With that matchup as your ending.
Unless, yeah.
But I mean, look at Jobu. That's a big matchup for Jobu in week 20, playing 5 swords.
Mm-hmm.
And also Globo Gym. If Globo Gym wants to get separation in that 3 seed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know that we're talking about 5 swords like they're the B team here or the minor league team, but I mean, look at the scores and that's what's going on.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So then, transactions. We have a couple of trades to talk about.
Interesting.
Yeah. I lost it here. Here we go. Zips trading away Lorenzo Kane and Zach Cozart to All Rise for E.
I
Rodriguez.
think this goes into our bold predictions, which I still have.
Mm-hmm.
Bob will make a trade that ruins his championship run.
Wow, you think it's that bad?
That's all.
I don't know if it's that bad. I don't think
So
it's
what happens in a week from now? Erod gets sent back down or put on the DL.
Well, are you assuming he's hurt? Let's start with that. Why do you think he's going to be on
He's
the
always
DL?
hurt, just like you said.
Does he have an
that get
innings
hurt,
limit? I mean, did someone say, hey, he's only going to throw so many?
guys that get hurt always get hurt.
Well, I think Kane
I
falls under that category too, though. Now I know Cozart's overperforming this year. I mean,
Right.
he's not a 3-point
As bench
hitter.
champions would say, you can't just win with superstars. You also have to win with guys with career years.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like there was one other trade. Sorry, on my phone it doesn't separate the regular transactions from the trades. There we go. Zips trading away Lance McCullers to Alaska Glaciers for Nelson Cruz.
I liked it. If Cruz can hit, I think Cruz is kind of
If
fading.
Cruz can hit, what do you mean?
He's been fading. He's faded a little
Oh.
bit here this month.
I don't know.
Hold on. Better fact check that before we get a text message in a day from now.
I mean, he might not be hitting home runs, but I don't think he's terrible.
What do you think about that trade?
I love Nelson Cruz.
Well, of course.
So
Nelson Cruz was a guy that I actually traded for at the deadline last year.
I mean, if you look at the StatCast numbers and stuff for him, it's nuts.
Statcast numbers like
Well, whatever you want to call it, like the exit velocity and all that.
how many points does that get you?
Well, that means he's hitting the ball hard.
Wow.
Yeah,
Hit it.
he's in the top 5 all the time.
Last 7 days,
Mhm.
5 for 27,
Yeah.
0 homers, 1 RBI, 185 average.
Do last
14?
Yeah, you do the bigger.
We'll do a bigger one
Yeah.
for the Globo gyms out there. It goes up a little bit. 220
Yeah.
with 3 homers, 5 RBIs, 6 singles, 5 runs scored.
Well, if you look at it, how bad the last week was, 2 weeks ago was pretty good. He had 3 home runs in that week. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do know what you mean.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying it's not as bad as you're making it out to be.
Last 30 days, 247, 6 homers, 17 RBI. I mean, those aren't
great.
correct. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you know.
He needs to get back on track.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. That's all I was trying to say.
Now I know you're bigger on McCullers than I am.
I was. There's something wrong with him. He's hurt.
Well, that's because he's always hurt. That's kind of his MO.
Well, okay, but I just said that about
I know, but it's
Erod. But
I feel like McCullers is hurt more than.
really, can you tell me the last time Erod pitched?
Can I tell you like the date?
No, can you remember the last time he pitched in a game other than yesterday?
I was gonna say.
Correct, because he just came off the DL.
He pitched, yeah. But I mean, in general, overall. No, you don't think so? I don't know. I mean, McCullers has number one, number two stuff when he's healthy and on. I think he's that good.
He's still only a 6-inning guy.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
He's still only a 6-inning guy.
But
yeah, 6 innings, no runs, that good stuff. But
yeah. And then I think there was
still a good trade for Zips. That's a good trade.
That's
but like I said,
trade.
the other one was the
Right.
one that's going to kill him.
Now, what do you think of the other trade, which is Will Myers for Justin Wilson? Because we didn't really that happened during the video last week.
Right. I said you should take it as long as Justin Wilson gets traded.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be a Holds guy.
Right. Now he still hasn't been traded yet, though.
So he's still a closer.
Yeah.
But he's on a team that's not good.
Yeah.
So.
But it worked out for me because I got a closer anyway from the White Sox.
Potentially.
No, not potentially. He's has 2 saves now. He's the closer. So.
And he is who?
Anthony Swarzak.
Okay, good job.
Yeah. Well, just because they traded away Robertson, so I went and picked him up right away.
Makes sense.
Yeah. There was really nobody else that could get that job in the bullpen because they traded away Conley too.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he was like the next guy in line. There
was some talk they were going to try to make Clippard the closer so that they could then flip him again.
Wow.
Was the theory.
Yeah.
That was the theory. But
Clippard was so bad, I don't think anybody would want him anyway.
correct.
So that was the reason why the Yankees had to make trades to begin with. But yeah, so I guess that's the end of the trades. I don't think there was any other ones. Do you think so? Because again, we'd have to get.
No, Wilson would have been the last one.
Yeah.
Now my question is: have you been playing Will Myers?
I think I played him Monday. You know what I mean? Like I think I was short Monday and played him Monday. Yeah.
Interesting.
I think he was 1 for 4 with it. It's not a big deal, but that's what he. Yeah.
Streaking?
Yes. Longest winning streak goes to the 9 weeks now. I think that actually ties for the longest because I think I won 9 in a row there.
I mean, for this season.
Well, yeah, for the season. For this season, sorry. Yeah.
Not in the history of the league?
No, not in the history of the league. And the longest losing streaks, we have tie. We have All Rise and Globo.
Globo! Don't forget, we give you some love.
Yeah, we do give you some love.
Good job, Globo.
Yeah. But I think the bigger issue that both of those teams have, bigger issue, is that they both, with ties, I guess neither team has won since week 11 now. So,
that's a long time.
That's a long time. So, I mean, if we were on social media, they'd be trending downward, would they not?
Well, the Globo Gym's always been trending downward in my opinion, but hey, who am I?
Yeah. So, I guess we have a hot topic. Did you know that?
No, you didn't tell me.
No. Uh-oh. He didn't know. He didn't know about the hot topic. Hot topic. Okay. It is hot topic time. I promised one of the GMs in this league, Team Jobu, that I would not hold back. The minor league system is terrible. It is awful. I know we've already talked about this 10 different times. I don't care. And I think the thing that's getting me even more riled up is the stupid comments in our text thread about, oh, this is working and this is working. Do you understand, Commish, that there's going to be, oh my, another several handful of players that are going to hit that threshold of 130 and 50 innings. Is it 50 or 40 innings? 50.
For
I
pitching,
forget. Yeah,
it's 50.
They're going to hit, and they're going to be. You're basically either have to waste a roster spot on them, or they're gone. You're done.
Okay,
I mean, it's
now,
going to happen.
First of all, it's a very vague statement. So, what do you mean by they're just going to hit their limits? So they're going to not be prospects anymore?
Right.
Okay.
They're going to lose their prospect eligibility. And
Okay,
it's gonna be
so,
up
and again,
to-
because you like to give as little information as possible when
No.
you're trying to make a point, are you talking about guys that are in the, so obviously they're still in the majors? Because that's how they break, no, you can't break your threshold if you're not playing in the majors.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mostly what I'm referring to are the pitchers, because they're the ones that are going to hit it very soon. There's a lot. You know that. You're doing the list. There's probably about 5 names in there that are all in the 30s innings, right? So they're
Okay.
2 starts away from hitting it.
Okay.
So they're going to be lost.
Why?
And some of them,
Why are they going to be lost?
because you either have to leave them on your team or you don't get them at all.
But if they're pitching, why don't you want them on your team? So, for example, Sean Newcomb.
Well, yeah, that would be one.
So
yeah.
why are you going to lose him?
Well,
He's not good enough for you to roster on your 28? Yes or no? Not a story. Yes or no?
It depends.
No.
I can't
Yes
answer
or
the
no.
question
Why not?
because I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
Because I don't know how it's going to look.
50 innings, after 50 innings, you can't make a decision whether he's good enough
All right.
or not to be on your roster.
All right, because here's what really irks me about this.
No, hold on.
because-
Don't deviate from this.
Well, there's
Answer
nothing
the
to
question.
deviate.
Answer the question.
I don't know the answer because I don't know what it's going to look like when he hits 50 innings. Right now,
It's
it's a
gonna look-
maybe. It's a clear, solid maybe because I don't know.
It's going to look like his inning pitch total is going to be above 50.
I don't know what the rest of my pitching staff
Okay,
is
so
going
hold
to
on.
look
So
like
hold on.
when he
So
hits
hold
his
on.
limit.
So let's play. Hold on. So I'll keep this same example. So if you did have, we're about to get interrupted.
You can keep talking. You can keep talking.
So let's say you did have Sean Newcomb with the old system. You realize he'd be on your roster right now, or you would have already cut him.
Right.
Okay. So
I
what do you
was-
think you would have done?
I would say because he had I think 3 good starts and 3 bad starts that he would not be on my roster right now.
Okay.
But his
So,
last
hold
start
on.
was really good.
So you wrote. I want to yes
So
or
I
no.
think
So
it's
yes
like
or
7.
no. Okay. So yes or
yeah.
no.
No.
Right now, you are complaining about a player that you wouldn't own under the old system, but under the new system, you still currently have. No, hold on. Yes or no? You're complaining that under the old system, you wouldn't even own this guy right now.
You're missing
you wouldn't
the
even
point.
no. You wouldn't even own him right now.
I'm
You're
not talking
missing
about
the point.
no, because you singled out one guy, Newcomb, and that's not what I'm talking about. It's a bigger it's bigger than just one guy. Because right now, Glasnow, I would have kept and would have put him in AAA. I would still have him. I couldn't keep him under your rules because I wasn't going to sit there and waste a roster spot. So now,
No,
someone like
stop right there. That's false information. Could you have still kept him? Yes or no?
if I
Yes
wanted
or
to
no?
lose, yes,
No,
I could have
yes
kept
or
him.
no? Yes or no?
Well, of course, if I wanted to lose, I could keep him. That's
If you
a
wanted
stupid thing to
lose.
say.
So you're saying your team is only competitive because you have 28 active guys?
If I wanted to sit there and waste a roster spot, yes, I could have kept him. I don't know why you're laughing at that because that's not funny. Well, I don't know why
That
that's
is funny.
funny.
It is
So
funny.
what's happening is that right now you've got guys like Urias and Glasnow wasting spots when they could be in NA. And for some reason, I would be okay with this stupid system if you were allowed to have NA guys. And I'm not even saying you have to. You don't have to have an NA, and because just like you said, you want to have flexibility and be able to do whatever you want to do to your roster.
Correct.
Well, if that's the case, then why in the hell were you did you make all these moves for someone like Ben's Champions to not do what he wanted to do the last couple of years? Too many transactions, Ben. That's not acceptable. Yeah, he was running his team the way he wanted to. Tell me what the difference is. Because I was even on your side when you did some of those things because I'm like, okay, this is ridiculous.
What's
I
too
get
many
it.
transactions?
Well,
What are you talking about? You
when we
said
cut
maybe-
down the transactions because we went from you made a transaction limit of 200 right now, and that's
First of all, I didn't make that. We've had that for how many years now?
but why did you do it?
Well, we did it before we had number one. We did that before we
No.
had a farm system. There
I
was no
know.
farm system when
I
we were
know.
talking about transaction limits.
Yeah.
So now you're bringing up a point that doesn't have anything to do with the other one.
No,
We
no,
made a
you're
trans- we
you're
made-
not.
hold on. We made a transaction limit because there were people who were doing 300, 400 transactions
Mm-hmm.
because they were using the free agent system.
There's a reason why these are related, because he and you, because you had a ton of those transactions too, were running your team the way you wanted to. Now you have a system that only 2 GMs like. If you voted on it right now, there's only 2 people. If you said, okay, you've got 2 choices. 1, go back to the way it was last year, or 2, do this new system. 80% of the GMs would say, screw this is dumb, we want to go back to the way it was.
I will put $100 on the table right now and tell you that your number's wrong.
Why?
Because I've talked to people about the system.
Well,
Believe it or not, there are other GMs in our league outside our text thread. And your number's wrong. 8 out of 10, wrong. I'm telling you right now, it's wrong.
Oh, okay. So what do
If
you
we
think?
did a vote,
What do you
if we
think?
did a
Seriously,
vote, no,
give
right
me,
now,
give me
right
an
now,
honest answer. 'Cause I guarantee it's at least 6.
I would agree with that. I would agree that if we did a vote, it's probably closer to 6 to 4. But you realize that's one person changing their mind and it's 50-50. You realize that, right?
Why in the world would anybody change their mind after this debacle? That's what I don't
No,
understand.
what I'm saying is, you think that it's hardcore, because it's you, it's bench. By the way, you bench champions are the only 2 that complain about it every day.
Well, yeah, because other people aren't wasting their breath. I guarantee you
Go ahead.
that someone like Team Joe Boo doesn't like it.
Team Joe Boo I've already talked to loves it.
Oh, really? He loves it.
Text thread conversation between he and I.
Oh, okay. What did he say to you?
I've asked him point blank. He says it does have some of its flaws, but he likes it more the way it is now because he gets to own players he wouldn't have owned before.
How many name a player he's owned this year that he couldn't have owned last year?
I believe 2 of his international guys are still not in the Yahoo system because I can't put them on the watch list.
But see, that's what I'm saying. That's a completely separate entity. That is fine. I don't have a problem with you owning some guy that's not in the system. That's not the issue here.
Okay.
The issue is that there's Major League ball players who are playing that are not on the roster. And for some reason, I know the reason, you have this arbitrary number of when they're not rookie eligible.
First
and a
of all,
guy like Tapia...
Can we stop for a second? And then you can go on your rant. You can go on your rant about Tapia. I keep hearing this word arbitrary used by you and Bench Champion. The word arbitrary means you pick a random number.
No.
Hold on. Arbitrary means you pick some random number to make something up to use it.
Mm-hmm.
Globo Jim and I did not come up with an arbitrary number.
Right.
We came up with the actual number that Major League Baseball uses.
Yes, I understand.
That's not arbitrary.
I understand that.
That's not an arbitrary
I
number. We
understand
didn't
that.
randomly make
but do
it
they
up.
say in the majors? Excuse me, sir. Your player has 140 at bats. So now you either have to send him to the minors or play him every day. No, they don't say that.
No.
And that's what you've done right now. Because
Correct.
when these guys are still in their 4A status, you either have to put them on your roster and let them rot, or drop them completely.
And I completely agree with you on that statement. And let me tell you why that's better than what we had before. Because as you just stated, I'm going to use your own facts to support my evidence. You just said after 100 and, by the way, it's 130. 130 at bats,
130, sorry.
I have to either roster him or drop him. Under your system, I had to drop a guy before he even had an at bat in the majors. You tell me how that's better. Think about, now I'm being honest right now. You tell me how waiting on a guy to see what he does after 130 at bats is worse than when a guy gets called up, up on day 1 with 0 at bats and I got to make a decision on my roster. Tell me how that's better. Tell me how that's better.
Because at least you had some sort of, you could put him on your roster. Like the way it is now.
So you're
I
saying
can't
that's
do
better.
it.
You're saying that's better because so you could put him on your roster?
Yeah.
Do you even listen to what you're saying? You're saying the reason a system isn't good is because under the old system, he's not a farm guy.
Is this lined up right? We ran out of room because I forgot to delete the old ones.
He's mad. That's why he's wearing red. So it'll match his face.
Yes,
Go.
if a guy is pitching in the majors, he should have to be on your team. If you don't want to start him, that's one thing. But to just sit there and say, "Oh, hi, Mr. Guy on the bench with all these stats," that's an issue. And for some reason, he thinks it's not.
I think it gives us the ultimate flexibility with prospects, with allowing GMs to be able to roster more actual major league guys and to be competitive.
But that's not even my biggest issue. The biggest issue I have with it, because I can tolerate that, is that I don't want to lose these guys once they hit 140 if they're in the minors. 130.
130.
I keep getting that number confused.
He does.
Why do I have to lose them? And
You don't. That's why we put in the rules that you can keep up to 3 of them.
Yeah, I shouldn't have to waste a roster spot on it. Because last year I wouldn't have had to. I could just send them down to the NA list. And even if you don't want to use that because of your, flexibility, why? Why? And the answer is that you don't want someone like Ben's Champions having, the first guy.
First of all, don't single him out.
Well,
it's not him. It's anyone in general.
Okay.
I don't think a guy like whoever you brought up.
I said Johnny Gomes, which I know
first
he hasn't played for 3 years, but he's the first guy I thought of that would be like in NA playing in the minors.
How about like Austin Jackson?
Okay,
he's probably
fine.
still in the minors.
Fine.
No, he shouldn't be owned.
Why? If he wants to own Austin Jackson, let him own Austin Jackson. Who cares? That's what I don't understand.
Because he's not a minor league guy. Sorry, he's not a prospect.
Right.
He's not a prospect.
Right. But now, do you really think that Tapia is not a prospect just because he hit his number right now? He's not a prospect. Nobody values him anymore because he's not good enough to play on the majors.
Okay, we asked your question has 2 different things in it that you can't answer. So your first part of your question was, is Tapia not a prospect? Correct. Tapia is no longer considered a prospect, and if you pull up anybody's current prospect list of the Colorado Rockies,
Yes.
he's not going to be on it.
Fine.
Okay. Your second part of that was what?
Well, he's not a normal 4A player. He's not like, he's not going to be good enough to play in the majors. He just doesn't have a shot because there's no place to put him. He's a real player. He's going to be something. But the problem is that the Rockies don't have an outfield spot to put him now that everybody's healthy.
I agree. It's a difficult decision.
So why? Because this is the answer that I keep asking. Why can't I? This is the question I keep asking. Why can I not have NA slots that I had last year and use them if I wish? Why?
Because we said you can put him on your roster.
Why? Why can't I put him in the NA? Why can't I put him down?
Because you think if he's that good.
He is.
Okay, then put him on your roster.
I don't want to waste a roster spot.
Why?
Because I don't want to waste a roster spot. I want to use my 28 men to the fullest extent.
So you want to have 29 is what you're saying?
No, I don't want to have 29. See, that's another argument that you keep using. You're like, if you hate the system so much, you don't have to use it.
You don't.
Hey, I'm just trying to win. I'll do whatever I can to win.
Correct.
So I have to use it. He has
been one of the GMs that has gone out of their way to take advantage of every part of the system and use it to their advantage.
Yeah, but it's still stupid. I don't want to do it, but I have to.
No,
because I do.
Who else does it other than you and Ben's Champions? Takes advantage of the system like you do. You two do.
Zips probably has.
No.
He'll keep a guy on like if he has a starter, he's going to keep him for the entire 5 days.
He kept Faria up the whole time. Yes.
He wasn't dropping in and picking him back up.
Nope.
Well, that's.
Hold on. Let me use numbers that you like to use. So that's 80% of the league that isn't, because the way the rule is written, is taking their farm guy, dropping him, throwing him out in free agency. By the way, which I have no problem with, but I'm just saying, there's only 2 people that are doing the system the way you two are doing it. That's you and Ben's Champions. But yet you two want to be the ones to complain about the system, saying how bad it is. Yes. You two are the ones that are taking the system to the extreme and using it to your advantage. Actually, Ben's Champions, I'm going to retract that, because he actually is an idiot when it comes to this, because he doesn't start his guys. He claims guys and then doesn't start them. Sensastalia and more for some reason. I don't understand that. But that's fine. So yes, you are the only one that does it. But yet you say you have to do it. Why? Nobody else does it. Why don't they have to do it? Why do you have to do it?
Because I'm trying to win.
Correct. And like I said, I don't have a problem with it. Do you pick up Sean Newcomb and drop him every time? Yeah.
I probably did when I was pitching him, yeah.
Correct. And that's fine. You can do that. That's part of the way the system is set up. But guess what? When he hits 50 innings, you got to make a decision. Under the old system, you didn't get 50 innings. You had to make that decision on day one.
Yeah.
So let's say he came up on that first day and got shelled. He's cut, isn't he?
Yeah, but you still could have had him on your roster. That's what I'm saying. You act like it's any better now than it was before. You still could have had
You just told me
him
you
on
wouldn't
your
have.
roster.
No, you said you wouldn't have him on your roster. You said you wouldn't have him on on your roster the way he's pitched under the old system.
Newcomb, no, because he had 3 bad starts.
So you're mad about Tyler Glasnow is what it sounds like.
It's not just Tyler Glasnow. It's Tapia. It's going to be Newcomb because I think that they're either going to send him down or
Why? He's not anywhere close to his max innings yet. Why would they send him down? They just traded away another starting pitcher.
because they're. This is what you see. Come on, you know how teams work.
In September.
They don't let guys throw 200 innings in their first year. They just
Correct.
don't let them do it.
He's not even thrown 50 yet, and we're at the end of
No.
July.
He threw innings in the minor leagues, you freaking jack monkey. I'm not talking about major league innings. I'm saying for the year.
How many?
I don't know, but he hasn't been hurt. So he has to have a high inning count because he's been throwing in the minors all year. That's what I'm saying. They're going to shut him down. And that's another situation that you've got. And what they do is they're not wasting a roster spot in the majors. They're not saying, oh, well, we're going to DL you in the majors. No, they'll just send them down. Because they can't, it's a money issue. They're not going to pay major league money for a guy to be on a DL. So he's going to get sent down to the NA list. He would be NA under the category of last year. But now, not going to happen. I'm going to lose all these guys anyway.
You can still keep him on your roster.
No, I can't because I'm trying to win. I'm one of the few guys that are trying. Everybody else, I don't understand why Pine Tree has Glasnow on his roster. If he didn't have Glasnow on his roster, that's another roster spot that he could have been using the last couple of weeks. Maybe pick up a couple extra points. He's only 4 games out of a playoff spot right now as we speak.
Correct.
I mean, if he didn't do that, he probably would be in the playoffs. But he's forced to under your rules.
He's not
It's
forced
bad.
to. He's making that decision.
Well,
I'm not
because he
forcing
thinks
him to make-
Glasnow is a future stud, which he may be. He might be. I don't know.
He might not be.
He might. Yeah, you're right. He might not be. But either way, he's wasting a roster spot. Well, he shouldn't have had to because there should be an NA list.
He's wasting a roster spot. That's his decision. You just said you don't have to. That's your decision to keep an NA guy on your roster. He's not being forced to keep an NA guy. That's his decision.
It just amazes me you don't see the hypocritical nature of this.
Hypocritical
Yes, because you purposely have made rules over the last couple of years to because you didn't like the way that it was doing because GMs were running their team the way you are. And now what you've done is you created a system that you and one other guy really loves. I'm not saying that you can get a couple other guys like a Team Jobu or maybe an Alaska Glaciers that say, oh, well, I guess
Alaska
it's better
Glaciers
than
would be
last
the
year.
other strong yes that he loves the system.
Well,
and
of
thinks,
course.
And thinks you guys are complete
Well, of course.
morons.
Oh, yeah, we're complete morons. No, what's a complete moron is sitting there having your team and having all these young guys for no reason at all on your team because they're not helping you win. Right now, you should have the older guys because they will get you categories, they will get you wins. What you have is that you've got 2 guys that love your system in Alaska Glaciers and Team Globo Gym that just love young players. They get too excited over all prospects, so it doesn't matter. So if you tell them, oh, I can have more prospects, yes, I love that system. But they're not understanding that it's not any better. And once this hasn't affected them. See, this is the thing. They're sitting there with 18-year-olds and they're like, oh, I love my 18-year-old. That guy might not even get to the majors. So I don't even care about your 18-year-old. Okay? I'm talking about guys who are actually playing and are actually there. And I'm not going to be able to keep them because of this system. Because I'm not going to waste roster spots because I'm in it to win it right now. I've dealt with all you fools for the last 4 years making fun of me like I didn't know what I was doing. Not anymore. I'm in it to win it. All I got to do is win one matchup and I'm in the championship. That's all that's going to happen.
Didn't you just say you traded all your young guys away?
Exactly. Because tell me the bad trade I made, please tell me. In the last 18 months, tell me the trade that was like, man, that was really stupid. Jason, you shouldn't have made that trade. Because what I've done is that I've flipped my younger players for older players that are actually producing. That's what I do all over the place. That's what I did.
So what you're saying is the affection and love for the system and having young players has benefited you because you've been able to take advantage of the fact that people love the prospects and the younger guys and make your team better.
The GMs love their young players. I have no idea why. I cannot figure it out. Potential. Yeah. There's a lot of that going around. A lot of potential, right? I mean, think about, and again, I know it's just easier to talk about the Orioles because they're an easy target.
Correct.
But think about the Dylan Bundys and the Gausmans of the world that everybody was just all excited about and love these guys, and these guys are free agent fodder. Like, that's what they are, you know? So, all right, I'm done. Power rankings. All right, now it's time for power rankings. Who's your number 16?
Despite the loss,
Pine Tree Lane.
Pine Tree Lane is my number 16. Close loss to Team Joe Boo. However, I do think this is the last time you're going to see me hold up Pine Tree Lane's name because, as we talked about, Kershaw is hurt, and I don't think he's going to be able to win any more matchups.
Yeah, and the way his roster is set, he's got 6 guys on the DL and an NA guy, and it's not a full roster. So I have dropped Pine Tree Lane out of my roster because I can do that. My number 6 is actually Zips. I agree with what you said earlier. It seems like he either has a close matchup or he gets blown out. I think that's part of his problem there, of why he's not done. But I do like his team overall. I do think it is a tough matchup.
Despite the trade he just made with All Rise.
I hope I do not play him in the playoffs. I'm more scared of him than most of the other teams.
Well, unless he finishes 3rd or 6th, you should be okay.
Well, we'll see. Hopefully.
My number 5.
Number 5.
I have Team Joe Boo as number 5.
And that is not my number 5.
Okay. Joe Boo, I was impressed with your win. I see your Cubs are starting to perform, which I think is going to help you. I'm still worried about Cargo and Miggy and how your offense is going to respond to that.
Wait, he dropped Cargo.
He did. The Yahoo system did it, though.
Yeah, I honestly, I think it's so easy on the app to drop someone by accident. You pull it up and you just click on the guy twice. If you double click on him, you will drop him.
But he didn't add anybody. It was just a straight drop.
I know, but that's an option. You know what I mean? Like when you.
Oh, I know that. I can do that on my tablet too. Yeah. But I'm saying.
Like when you click on my team and you're just looking at your stats for the day.
Yeah.
And I click on McCann, it'll actually list drop player. It's that simple. So if I hit drop player, it might even say, "Are you sure?" But if you still double click it, he's dropped. It's that simple. So I
did have a little bit of controversy, but
yeah, it's okay.
Not good enough to make our hot topic.
Yeah.
Your number 5.
My number 5 is Ben's Champions.
Despite a 12-5 impressive win.
Well, you got to look at what happened the 2 previous weeks before then. He got sandblasted. So
shouldn't that happen when you play teams that are higher up than you?
Well, you would think you'd at least lose competitively, not get beat down. That's the issue.
Gotcha.
I'm still concerned with him. I think he could be higher if he made some roster room moves to get more balance, but he's not really doing that. And I feel like he's running out of roster moves to do it. Isn't he like at 160 or something?
He could be that high. I didn't think he was. It's not gonna
load for you.
Well, not fast enough, but yeah, I do agree. I think his balance needs to happen, but his offensive guys have just been raking. He is at 167.
See, so he only has 33 moves to figure this out.
Correct.
And there's still 5 weeks left.
Team Joe Boo only has 41 moves left.
Yeah.
However, I still have bench champions at number 4. I agree with everything that Bear Bashers has said. You're not balanced. You're still waiting. I don't know if I think between this week and the end of next week, the trade deadline, he either gets the guys he needs from what happens in trades in real life to make his team right, or I don't know what he's going to do. Because I don't see anybody at the bottom that's going to trade with him. Because, as I said, the only person that we've deemed out of it is Five Swords. And here's the problem. If Alaska Glaciers decides they're out of it, he doesn't have the players that bench champions needs to make his roster balanced.
No.
So, I'd be curious. I mean, maybe Pine Tree Lane is the guy he goes to.
Maybe
But-
that would be the they would
That would be
the best
interesting
matchup-
tradings. Yeah, that would be
matchup
interesting.
for trading. Yeah.
Interesting. You're number 4.
My number 4, Team Jabu. Because of placement of everyone else. Let's put it that way. I do have the same concerns of you with injuries. I did not. Did you hear? Is Springer hurt for real? What happened there? He was removed from the game with an injury yesterday.
I took it at face value from whatever Globo Jim said, since he likes to keep tabs on Springer all the time. I think he has an app that gives him an update on George Springer. He's still listed as day-to-day.
But I mean, are we waiting on X-rays or something? I mean, is it that serious?
It's a good question.
Because I mean, that's a big deal. I think because Segura's fading. I don't know if you've noticed or not. So, if he's going to lose Springer, his offense could really be hurting.
Is expected to avoid the disabled list.
Okay, well then that
Left
doesn't sound too serious.
quad
It was a
discomfort.
It's a quad issue. Okay, I couldn't even remember what it was. So, all right.
Interesting.
Well then, if he's okay, I'm all right with my number 4.
Well, Beltre's been on fire too.
Yeah, that is true.
And he is
Beltre's
chasing
starting.
3,000 hits. Haven't heard a lot of C-Dick texts.
No, that's because he fell off. He's really regressed.
Let's
They were
see what
talking
he's-
about and it's not going to list it in your Yahoo stats, but his strikeouts have skyrocketed. the last month.
227 in his last 30 days. Gene Segura 311 in the last 30, but that
Yeah,
doesn't
it's
include-
just the
yeah.
last couple of weeks he's faded off.
Okay.
All right.
Number 3, we're gonna have pretty much the same guy.
Number 3.
I'm telling you this though, Globo, you're about 1 week away from dropping out of the 3 spot.
But see, you got to replace him. Who do you move up there? That's the issue. Like,
Team Joe Bill,
maybe if he wins again, that's
depending
what's
on
going
who
to
he
have to
beats,
happen.
yeah. Maybe bench champions if he gets his act together, make some moves. But that's really it. I don't see.
Yeah.
I mean, well, how about this? Saying it right now. If Team Joe Boo beats Globo Jim, I will bump him up to 3.
Is that the matchup this week?
That is the key matchup this week.
Key
yes.
matchup this
The
week.
key matchup.
All right. Number 2. It's not really very surprising. Should we just do the next one? Number 1. The separation is crazy though, isn't it? I mean, you have a 22.5 game lead on me, and then I have a 16 game lead on 3rd place. Those are significant. Significant.
You've done all this despite the awful farm system. Despite it, you've been successful. It's amazing.
I know. I don't know how I possibly could have done it.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
You should give yourself more credit. Man, Alex Smith. Well, not very exciting power rankings.
It's not very exciting power rankings. Are you excited about Malik Smith? Do you want to talk about him since you mentioned him?
I was going to pick him up. But
Yeah.
I'm
Speaking of,
one of the few guys who values batting lineup. placement.
Speaking of minor league players, why did you pick up Tapia for 2 days? What was that about?
For fun.
For fun?
Yeah, just for fun.
Really? Was it really just for fun, or were you sitting there thinking, well, I have a 22.5 game lead, I could just sit here and harvest him for
Well, that
the
is
rest
part
of
of
the year?
fun. It is an option that I have to put an NA guy on my roster. But it was just for fun.
So it was just a rib? There was nothing that you wanted to do with him at all? You weren't really going to keep him?
Oh, he might make another appearance on Team V. I mean, barring injuries, I only play 10 guys every day.
Yeah.
By the way, I just want to give a quick shout out to Five Swords, Alaska Glaciers, All Rise, Pine Tree Lane, Zips, Bench Champions, Globo Gym. Not sure if I'll remember you. Thank you for telling me how bad Justin Upton is and not accepting any of my trade offers for him. Appreciate it. Been a big cog in my offense the past 2 weeks. Killing the ball, stealing bases, moved him up in the lineup. Thank you. I'm glad I had him on my bench and I was able to play him. So shout out to you guys for telling me how bad he is.
Did because I actually did give you a real offer.
You did,
for him.
you did.
Did
That's why
anybody
I
else give
excluded
you
you.
an offer or not?
No, I offered him to other people and was
Okay.
told that he is not good enough to play on their team. Basically. Basically is what I was told. So
He's not good enough to play on all those teams, huh?
he's not good enough to start on my team either, except for the last 2 weeks where I played him over Yelich, who has struggled.
Yeah.
But hey, no worries.
Maybe Yelich is a guy you could trade.
I have had him in trade discussions. It was interesting that you brought up AJ Pollock because that is the guy I went after.
Yeah. Because, like I said,
And I
that's
was told that's not enough.
so when AJ Pollock is healthy, I get it. But that's been number one issue all the time. He's not healthy. So.
Yeah. Anything else?
That's
Should
it.
be. I mean, we are. Don't take it from our demeanor. We are excited to watch how spots 3 through 6 are going to play out. Sort of.
Well, yeah, I am. I'm very nervous about it, actually. Because without divulging too much strategy here, there's a couple teams I really want to play, and there's a couple teams that I absolutely want no part of.
Don't make the mistake Globo Jim made last year.
I won't. I'm not even looking at that. I won't even look at that. However it falls, it falls. But I'm just saying there are definitely teams that I'll be rooting for because I want to play them as opposed to other teams. But I'm never ever going to change my matchup or anything like that. Because I want to win as many games as possible. I still have an outside shot at winning 200 games. Even though you're that good, that's...
You need 63 more wins, sir.
Yeah. And we've got 6 weeks left.
Right, but that means you got to average.
Counting this one.
You've got to average 10
Yeah.
points.
I said it's an outside shot.
Yeah,
It's not.
correct.
Yeah, it's...
200 is an accomplishment.
Yeah.
It is a number that doesn't get talked about a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It is an accomplishment, a goal to shoot for.
Mm-hmm.
We won't talk about ourselves, so we're rooting for good matchups. Unfortunately, the only really one worth watching this week is Team Jobu and Globo Gym. So
I do think this is a big week for All Rise. He cannot get blown out by you.
I don't think he will.
Most teams do get blown out by you. So I hope that he doesn't, so that he stays around. Because if he would get blown out, he would fall out of this. Because he's like at that 10 games out. You know what I mean? He can't drop to like 15 out. That's not going to be okay.
He's already 13 games out.
Okay, so he's 13 out right now. So he's gotta maintain here with you. But as I played him last week, and it's the same story with him. It's all about the Yankees.
Correct. Well, and going along with this too, I think this is a big week for Pine Tree Lane. I'm not saying that he needs a win, but he can't, like you said, he can't get blown out either.
Yeah.
Interesting.
All right. Well, this might be the longest video we ever had. What do you
It
think?
wasn't even exciting or
Wasn't
fun to
that
do.
exciting?
No.
Well,
It's like the farm system. It's just not fun.
Yeah, it's not. Bye.